Stupid things that parents do. Okay, look. All right, before I start the video, I love my parents. I love my mother and father very dearly. There's no gun to my head, no nothing. Okay, I'm just kidding. But they put up with my dumb ass for years. So, I just have to thank them and congratulate them at the same time if they're watching this video somehow. Like, obviously, it's not all sunshine and rainbows with the parents. Like, there was some stuff that made me crash out. So, we're gonna first start with the door dilemma. Now, you're probably wondering, what is the door dilemma? When my parents leave my room and keep the door open. But, I'll give them their credit. They've been learning to shut the door. But other than that, no, they would have just left it open. But just growing up, that shit pissed me off because I have to get my 300-pound ass up off the chair and, okay, I'm not 300 pounds. I'm not Dave Blunt's big back status. I'm not 300 pounds. But I am lazy as hell, though, so I have to get my ass up and shut the door. It's just such an inconvenience. But yeah, it wasn't that serious, but it leave me a little bit riled, a little bit peeved. So not shutting the door, big no-go in the duck house. One must shut what they've must opened. That's gonna be the quote on my grave. Luckily, my parents didn't do this next thing, but I'm sure a lot of you have run into parents where they think their son or daughter is the next prodigy. They think they're like Ronaldo and Messi. Like, no. And by the way, they would be like 10 years old playing in like youth soccer. Like, okay, all right, I didn't know we had some big ballers on Facebook. My bad. But whenever I played sports, it would always be some parent in the crowd acting like their son is about to go pro. This is not the G League, all right? This is not that intense. It's youth baseball. And the umpire is not going your way every time. Just because you think your son is so high and mighty at baseball. This shit made me mad even though it had nothing to do with my life. I was just mad for the other kid, bro. Like, how do you have a parent with that much of an ego? And you bet whenever they got ready to go to university, that shit was on Facebook. And they get ready for their job interview, that's on Facebook. They land the job offer, it's on Facebook. At this point, they basically live through their kids, bro. They've just hung up their own cleats. I don't know why they brag about their child because the mutuals on Facebook don't care. Because at this point, you're just flexing your children like they're diamond VVS 24 karat chains that you got at Icebox. Another thing that would piss me off that my parents would do is do these first day of school pictures. I even had to do this on my first day of college. No, I am not kidding. So yeah, I've been doing this shit recently. So you can't say I'm just reminiscing on the good times peaking or whatever. I don't know. Because it's not good times. This is not nostalgic. I had to smile for the camera at 6 in the morning. Like, at this point, just take the picture when you get home, bro. Like, just any time but 6 in the morning. Next, we have one of the worst lines in parenting history. Are you ready? Because I said so. Because for one, I don't even get a reason as to why I can't do something. No, they just break out this line when they can't come up with anything. Because if you want me to see your point, come up with some sort of valid reason as to why I shouldn't do something. Because I said so is just a terrible excuse. It's just a complete nothing burger. It's the most annoying line in parent history. And it would always be over the most simple shit too. Like, I would just say, why can't I play video games for another hour? Because I said so. And then they would just shut the internet off. And speaking of, this was only exclusive to me. I don't know if anyone else out there had parents that would shut the internet off at a certain time. I think Birdie talked about it in one of his videos, but what? I've never heard a parent that's ever done that in my life. Yeah, people will think I live in like some dictatorship type of country because I couldn't be on the game past another hour. And it'll always be at 11 o'clock. 11 p.m., the game would shut off. Doesn't matter if I was in the middle of a game, it would always shut off. And as soon as it turned 11 o'clock, everyone in the party knew, oh, his dumbass got DC'd. And I used certain things to get around this, and somehow they worked. I'm not gonna disclose that on the video, because you never know. Once I developed a little bit more of brain cells, I was able to figure this out. Helicopter parents. We can't let helicopter parents slide off this video. I know everyone talks about helicopter parents, but once I was able to drive, I had to download this app called Life 360, and they were acting like I was gonna go to some sort of rager and drink until I pass out and roll up or whatever. And honestly, I'm not the type of person to drink until I pass out. I didn't even know the taste of elk when I first started driving. I never even had it. So I don't even know why they would think I would go on and party. When I got my license, I was the last person to be at a party. All I would do is go get something to eat, go to a gas station, or be at a friend's house. Or I would be at school. Like, those are the only locations I would have been to. And they still press me about Life 360 to this day, and I don't put it on. Because if I did use Life 360, it would drain the battery out of my phone, and I would end up with a dead phone every day. Because it would just die in the middle of the day, since I had to keep my location on at all times. That's what Life 360 was. You just had your location on 24/7, and they could see everywhere you go. Seems very helicopter-ish, especially if they're watching it all day. The only time I would find it useful is some deranged tweaker kidnaps me, and then I get stuck in his basement. And if that were to happen, no reception, and my phone would die anyway. Yeah, my bad, I got a little morbid there, but still. And plus, I live in a rural area, so half the places don't even have reception. Service is a little bit spotty. Now, I never saw the vision with Life 360, and something else I never saw the vision with is having favorites. Now, I don't think my family did this. Keyword, I don't think they did this, but maybe. Deep down, they had favorites. But yeah, you never know. As long as they don't do this double standard bullshit with the youngest, the middle child, and the oldest child. Punishment's gotta be equal across the board. A lot of parents will be lenient towards their favorite child when it comes to timeouts or whatever, I don't know. Next, we have talkback. The talkback situation. We need to discuss this. Parents, if you're watching this video, we need to talk. This is more serious than Cypher PK's Fortnite We Need to Talk video. How is it considered back talk if we're just replying to what you just said? Isn't that how a conversation works? Because sometimes I feel like I would give my parents a reply. Just a simple reply, nothing more, just simple answer. And then they would just call me a wise ass out of nowhere. Like, what do you mean wise ass? I'm just giving you an answer. Like, how is that wise ass behavior? Like, seriously, somebody tell me right now. Like, if I'm just replying to what you just said. Sometimes I would be a spiteful asshole and murmur under my breath, but there were some times I would just reply with an answer and I would get the back talk treatment. And even with teachers, yeah, this back talk thing, this dilemma, it was always prevalent in the classroom too. They'd always say some shit like, why are you giving me back talk, young man? Like, bro, shut the hell up. It's a Q&A. I reply with an answer. And they would say, that's back talk right there, what I just said. But yeah, some parents just won't even hear their kid out and they'll hit them with the back talk. And that's like, you're forced to shut up or else you're gonna get timeout or, I don't know, some other punishment. But next we have the video games get taken away punishment. Now, they would do this if I got a C on a test, even just one C. Like, seriously. So, yep, I don't have the Black Knight skin because I got a C on a test. Yeah, I really got that shit taken away during Prime Fortnite. That is insane. Obviously, not the worst punishment in the world, but not the best either. I don't know. I'd rather get like a math tutor or something as a punishment because maybe that would fucking help me in the slightest, just a tiny bit, and not taking away video games. That will not help me succeed in math whatsoever. But yeah, guys, you know what? Since I got my video games taken away, you know what? I'm just gonna be a grinder. Absolutely locked in. No longer gonna be geeked. Just pure lock-in. Or I could just pull out my phone. Like, seriously, the fact that you can counteract this punishment so easily, it just needs to be put on the list just for that. Like, if you really love video games, it's gonna sting, but I don't know. If you don't really care about them, then not really. Because in my case, I could play them on the weekend. I just couldn't play them during the week, so this was a pretty useless punishment. And if you're wondering, my grades did not go up at all. Next, we have the micromanager. Now, taking advice and wisdom from your parents, very needed, very necessary. But if they're sat there micromanaging your entire life, you can't do this, yada yada, you can't do that. It's just stupid, bro. I'm not trying to be another you. Like, I'm just trying to be me. I'm trying to do what I want with my life. Like, they can advise all they want, but it really just gets to a point where advice just becomes micromanaging. Like, obviously, you can have your parents help you with things because you're asking for the help. But when it's unwanted, that's when it gets a little annoying. Next, we have having a Karen meltdown in front of their children. Now, this one only applies to Karens, of course. For whatever reason, they just decide to start having a rampage, and their child's always there. Why would you just set a terrible example in front of your child on how to act in public? Like, seriously, and then they'll act like they're in the right. Come on, Timmy, let's go. Like, bro, really? Like, what do you mean, let's go? Storming off, acting like they're in the right. Like, seriously, bro. Literally just apologize for what you just crashed out about. Because when you're a kid, you absorb shit like a sponge. So if you see your parents acting a fool in the store, then you might think, okay, obviously you'll find out later on that that's stupid, but you never know. They might start throwing more tantrums or whatever. You have no idea. These Karens, they hold way more influence than they think, so they'd stop with these meltdowns. Embarrassing you in front of your crush. Luckily, this is not a duck tradition. Well, at least I don't think it is. Maybe one day they'll fire with this crazy ammunition about how I got a mohawk when I was 8 years old, but you never know. But yeah, if we were not locked in, then that shit would piss me off. Because that's for like when you're about to get married or whatever. You shoot all these embarrassing stories out your asshole out of nowhere. Okay, huge pause there. Holy shit. Okay, anyways, I just gotta be ready. I just gotta stay 10 toes for whenever they embarrass me. And I just gotta pray to God that she finds it romantic that the duck got a mohawk at 8 years old. I also have a Spotify podcast for all of you to watch, The Duck on the Go, so go check that out, link in the description. But yeah, watch this video right here about my worst haircut with the shittiest drawings ever. This shit was 2 years ago.